Carol may be joining us on the phone, so I'll let you know if she pops in.
Okay, again, we'll call the meeting to order. Since we have a guest here, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jessica Erickson. Glad to be back again.
Okay, so you're interested maybe in being on the park board member?
At some point, if there's a position that we can available, yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
sounds good. Okay.
December, that's right.
Well, that's right. There is a member. Okay, so the minutes of the April meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
But there was just one thing that I had, that there was a sentence here that I didn't understand too well. On the Veterans Memorial Park, it said discussion about creating the memorial around the space that the donated eagle, comma, as the eagle will take about a year to build. I'm not sure. I think something was left out there.
Because the Eagle's pretty well built. Forget that particular one down there.
But we haven't chosen the eagle yet, is that right?
Well,
No.
it's just that, I don't understand the sentence. Discussion about creating the memorial around the space that the donated eagle, what? As the eagle will take about a year to build.
That's the Eagle you're looking at right there.
Yeah.
We just have to
Nice.
make a recommendation to change that sentence. So
Yeah.
I think that was the discussion about building the memorial, about sizing it accordingly.
Right.
According to
okay, yeah,
the eagle and vice versa that they
Mhm.
were.
right.
So you could just say to omit it. I don't know that it's a necessary sentence. You could just ask to omit that because it doesn't make sense. I don't think that it
Okay.
would take away from the minute.
Yeah,
So
okay.
if you
Anyway,
wanna,
it's,
if you want to move to adopt the minutes, omitting that sentence.
Yes.
Yes,
I do.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
okay.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the minutes as printed with one little correction that
Y'all
being taken
vote on
care
that. Yay.
all those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. I'm confused on this Eagle a little bit. I don't know if it'd be appropriate, but I've seen that down at Bud's for a long time.
Is there one down there?
Yeah.
What, the eagle that's down there? Yeah.
And I
It's
said,
on
I
a-
think it would really be neat to put 3 little eagles in there and this fish coming in, this bird coming in with a
Oh,
fish for it.
babies.
Yeah. Because, rather than just the eagle flying into an empty nest.
So is this is actually, he is donating his work?
Well, let's do our
That
number
hasn't
one
been-
agenda item
yeah.
and then we'll get to that.
Okay.
That's don't,
Because I do have a few questions.
Okay, let's start with music in the park update.
Okay.
So,
So it went really well considering that the weather was kind of dicey.
Freezing.
It
It
was
was
so
cold.
cold.
It was.
It was cold.
But there were quite a few people there.
We did.
even
I
so.
think there was a
Yeah.
good turnout
Mhm.
and I think people
The music was good.
enjoyed being
Mhm.
out. And I don't remember the final total, but I believe it was about $150.
Oh,
was
that's
raised for
good.
the-
Really?
Oh, I
That's
didn't think
good.
there was that much
Okay.
there.
Yeah, so that
yeah,
was
sorry, I
good.
couldn't make it. I was
I know,
pretty well laid up.
still recovering.
And Chris still has the jug, right?
I have two jugs
Two
now.
jugs
They're
now.
in my office.
Right, okay,
Yes.
good.
So they're living with me. So yeah, I think it was successful. I don't think that there were any particular issues. The rain was a little bit of an issue for the band, but that's to be expected. And I let them know ahead of time, if you feel like safety wise, you have to
Mhm.
call it or cut it short, we'll just let us know and we'll do that.
Thank
It
you.
went really well. I
Mhm.
got up and thanked the sponsors and did the band announcement. So that all went well. I think
Mhm.
there's one, and it may be the next band, I'll have to check, that did ask if we could use the system from the fire hall,
Oh,
just for announcements at least. So I think that's about it. Otherwise, everything seems to be on track. Does anyone else have any other comments or updates?
no, just that I think things went,
Do you know any,
Yeah.
I think there were just a
Yes, I do.
few folks that used the QR code.
I haven't heard
So,
back from
okay.
the, my contact. of
I
the-
think Chris told me 4
Okay,
Use
yeah,
them.
that's
Yeah,
probably
I
it.
think that was about right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, was the QR code on the jug?
Yes.
It was on the jug
Yes, it
and
was on the
it's on
jug,
the
yeah.
flyers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was big on the jug.
And the jug from last year, I think has even bigger on there. So.
Oh, okay.
I'll make sure that it
It
goes.
has
to the
one on
correct
there.
place. It does.
Oh,
Yeah, so I guess they had it on there last year too.
It is?
You know,
Yeah, we didn't even
it's
pay
really,
attention
it's
to
really a nice feeling because we made a pact that if we were gonna do this, Mission Park, we should try it for 5 years. You know,
Mhm,
rather than
mhm.
try once or twice and decide, well, it didn't work, you know,
Yeah.
because it
yeah.
takes a while to get it out.
Oh,
And
sure,
now
sure
it
it
looks
does.
like it's getting
Yeah.
out well, so.
Well, and the band, I don't think they really wanted to stop.
Yeah.
They just kept
Yeah.
playing and
Mhm.
I going, I'm cold.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like the music, but I'm cold.
Yes. Okay.
So, but as a new person on the board, and so what responsibilities do I have as a board member at that event?
Well, I think that you're kind of supporting it. So that's why I asked to make sure there's coverage. So I think it's the primary functions. We hope that those are covered by board members. We should always also have a staff member there. So, that will be a backup.
And it would be nice if each board member would take their turn to announce the band.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to
Well,
Rather
do
than just
that.
one
Yeah.
person doing it all the
If
time.
anyone's comfortable with that, that would be.
Okay, I don't do public speaking very much, but I can do it.
Okay.
so just kind of a suggestion. So some of us have shirts and some of us don't.
Oh,
Yes, that would be
Okay,
good to know. who doesn't.
So I'm wondering if it might be a good idea to come up with something like a badge, a name tag, a something,
Name tag maybe.
that for those folks that don't have shirts or don't want to wear those shirts,
Or wearing a
that
jacket.
they can
against
have-
freezing.
yeah, that's.
or
Yeah,
the over the coat. Yeah. So
Right.
if they just had like some sort of a pin and that would, folks could recognize them,
Mhm,
us
mhm.
as part of the board,
Mhm.
and we can, have conversations and
Mhm.
they know who to go to.
Yeah, if anybody has questions about the Parks Board, because that's who's putting on
Yeah,
the
who's
music.
putting it on
Then
there?
we're
a
there
lot of
for them to ask
Questions.
questions and,
Or when you're walking around with a jug asking
Yeah.
for money,
Right.
they think, oh, you look official,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true too.
right?
Well,
Right.
and the other thing is that when, at the beginning, when whoever is announcing it and the sponsors, if the board members that are there could come up in front.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a
Not
good idea,
necessarily
yeah.
introducing you, but at least these are the people. So then if somebody has a question or a comment,
They will know.
they know who to go to. Because
Right,
it was like, board members are here, but we were kind of scattered. all over.
Right, it was kind of a wave if you're out there. Mhm.
I like
that's a
that
good
idea.
idea, yeah.
Okay. Good suggestions.
And then we were gonna have some sort of a little cheat sheet with the sponsors. With
Yeah,
the
I
sponsors
can-
on there,
I can write that up so that you know
That would be helpful. in
who the
case-
So
band
whoever
is.
is-
And
introducing and
yeah,
Mhm.
it's not always easy to put on the fly. And I'll admit, I even had to pull up the sponsors on my phone to make sure I was saying all of the sponsors
Mhm.
correctly,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and I think it's fine if you're reading them off because you want to make sure you
Yes.
don't forget.
exactly.
Oh, sure. Mhm.
Are they on the board there in the Collins Park or downtown, or down in the park?
They
The
are
sponsors?
both, yeah,
Yeah, okay, I thought they were.
yeah.
It'd actually be nice to have a sign with the sponsors by the stage.
On the stage.
We talked about it. The reason why we didn't is because a lot of people like get married there and we can't put it up and take it down all the time. And so we put the sign up. It's at the park. It's just
Okay.
not,
All right.
Mhm.
it's not visible from that. And we looked at that because it's something we put up and leave up. And then I thought, great, someone will either like rip it down when they're trying to have a.
So can we do
ceremony
some
or-
sort of a sandwich board or something?
Maybe the only
Yeah.
issue is gonna be money, because this year we really have what Pioneer gave us, and we got new banners, which was in addition to the band. So the hope is that the council will support having a little bit of money every year in there that we'll try to raise all of it. If we can raise all of it, that's the hope, and we can cover it. But that if we didn't quite raise all of it, we'd still have some money to do things like get a sandwich board. I think it's kind of an add-on as we go. process, so
I mean, I would think that the city would have a sandwich board somewhere,
we
and then you
might,
can
there
just
might be
print
one
out
Public
and
Works.
put it on the board.
It's possible.
They
They might, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll ask them if they have one.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's what we used to do at the college. I mean, we
Mhm.
put on the empty sandwich board
Mhm.
anything we wanted.
mm-hmm,
Seems like a low-cost thing to do.
right. Mhm.
Yeah, and have
Sandwich
it,
board
have
would
it
be-
there. You wouldn't have to put it, right by the stage, but if you had it.
Close
Well,
by.
you could during the event, I mean, if it was
Right.
during the event,
Right.
yes, and that was
Because
my thought
everybody's
is,
looking at that.
it would be nice if the sponsors were up there as people are looking at the
Mhm.
concert, yeah.
And is there a storage place in the, whatever that is, that?
The shelter, I
Yeah,
don't
the
know, because
shelter.
people rent it.
I
I'm
don't
not sure.
think
Is
so.
there an-
I can't think, unless it'd be
actual
a
storage in
cupboard
there?
or something, because those other ones hold the chairs and the
Mm.
Yeah.
tables and all of that, you know, so.
The other question I have, again, since I wasn't involved with getting the musicians, do we pay the musicians an amount?
We are this year, yes,
Okay.
we're paying them each $200, or they can donate it back to the perform, or the youth organization.
Performing?
So far, no one has said that they're doing that, but I haven't heard back from all the bands yet.
Okay. So they are getting $200 for. the
Yes.
performance.
Yeah, I've seen some of your comments that said some of the bands would like in the future, that they commented that they would like to have some pay this year for their members. As they
Mhm.
apparently hadn't been doing any gigs for a while, and wanted to get back on there.
Right, and I think it helped to get more of a variety of groups, maybe, because some people, it is hard to get everyone together, and they probably have some of their own things that they might have to get to do it, but it seems like it worked well, it
No,
got
I mean,
people
it's a good
interested.
thing, it's certainly a good incentive, at least to give them
Right.
some money.
Obviously, we're, Philomath is a small community, and we
Mhm.
can't give them a lot, but
Mhm.
I think it's appreciated. Our last band definitely appreciated. They had a member that was coming from
Okay.
like the
okay.
gorge, and so
Oh, okay.
that person had to travel, and they used some of that
Mhm.
money to help them get.
Previously, we were not paying them, and sometimes if they did want some money, there'd be a sponsor that could.
I was gonna say,
reward
so what are the sponsors
supporting.
sponsoring?
So we had sponsorships to sponsor like the whole thing. So you're like the main sponsor, and that was a certain amount of money. And then we got 3 additional sponsors to kind of collect enough to pay every band $200.
Right,
those
okay, so we
sponsors
pool the
are-
sponsorships. Okay.
Those sponsors are essentially just they're a one band sponsor. So they basically sponsored one band, and then Pioneer sponsored the
Oh,
whole shebang.
And Pioneer even doubled what they usually.
mhm.
Yeah, so
pay for
we
funding.
told them what the structure was this year, and that we were trying to have some money for bands, and they did
Mhm.
step up and gave us additional
Okay.
funding this year.
Okay,
So all the bands are being sponsored by,
not individually, but as a
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah, not individually
Yeah.
necessarily, but we have three organizations that each sponsored a band, so
Oh,
there's
okay.
3, and then
And
Pioneer
Pioneer's doing the
sponsored
rest.
the rest
Okay.
of them.
Okay,
Mhm.
Well, what I
good to
was
know.
wondering is if there was no signboard, could we use one of those for a donation for a signboard rather than to the Performing Arts Fund?
Well, I think we'll be able to get a board. I just think
Okay.
it's kind of, this year we got new banners. I think it's definitely something that we could look at, getting something that we can have up by the stage. I think
Mhm.
is important. There is a sign as you're coming into the park that
Yeah.
has the sponsors all on it, but it's not the same as sitting there
Right.
looking at them.
and also if they come from back where Chris
Sure,
lives,
they're
they will
walking.
see that.
Yeah, they might not.
You
see
could
it.
have one as you come in the front and maybe one at the bandstand.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what,
Yeah.
so let me see what kind of options we have, and if we have anything that might work for that,
Okay,
yeah, in the meantime.
thank you.
So anything else on that?
Well, the only other question I had was that, like, when we finished, was there any other locking up or anything? I know at that one, on the Sunday one, the building wasn't open, but on the
Mhm.
Thursday one, the building will be open. Is that the Lions Club responsibility then to close that up, or?
Well, if they're there, I don't know if you have are you in there when you do your serving? Is that where you do it? in the
No,
building?
it's just out on the back.
Okay,
Mhm.
so
But the
no,
building is open, isn't it? Do you guys have access to it or not?
They really don't. I don't.
Okay.
It's
I don't think
open.
it's
I
been
think it's open. I don't remember it seems like when they went in there, get some water or maybe use the restroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did get an update about the restrooms, so they are coming out, but we are going to be getting portable toilets, kind of adjacent to the shelter area. So there will be restrooms there. So I don't know that we need to open that building. If it were opened, it would be the city's, like a city employee's responsibility. So
Okay, well,
whoever's-
I thought the Lions Club had it open, so
Yeah,
if
I
they
don't
didn't,
know.
then.
I
No.
think probably Chris was there, the city manager, and was, he was probably had it open.
Although the Lions Club has it using Betsman in that
Mm.
Cochran building, you know, I mean,
I don't think it's usually open when we've had the music in
Okay,
the past.
I just thought it was.
Mhm. There was,
Very fast.
there was a vendor or something in there at one time.
Mm.
And then, of course, it was open,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, I think the main, just to summarize, the main responsibilities of the park board or just in general, are helping to get the word out, selecting the bands, and then during the events, it's just being there in support of music in the park. Being there to, you all work quite a bit on getting the bands there, getting the word out, and so it's like, hey, here we are. And then just doing the announcements, like Dale said, and just if anyone has questions, and then trying to collect some donations for
now they, and
the youth organization.
to answer your question, as far as the Lions Club is, the city likes to leave the front door locked. And so the Lions Club didn't want people coming through our kitchen.
Hmm.
Because who knows what the health department's gonna say if that happens.
Yeah, no,
So
I
that's the
agree.
reason that's,
Okay, no, that's fine if we don't have a responsibility with it, because it would be better not to have people in that.
Right.
building.
So how about when is it the fire department where they're gonna get some sound equipment from? For a band that doesn't have its own, who's responsible for getting that back and forth? then?
Well, I think Dale picked it up before, so I'll just let
Okay.
Dale.
in fact, I
know which date
reserved
it
it in
is,
case. it was
in case
needed.
we needed
Oh,
it.
I see, okay.
Yeah, I did reach out to all the bands. Like I said, I haven't heard back from all of them, but I did say, we do not have equipment. We're
Yeah.
assuming that you do. We have this smaller piece of equipment that's, it's not what you would normally have to play, but we do have it if it's needed. Just the one band, I think,
Now,
asked.
if you want it the day of the parade, you won't get it because it's being used
Forget
for the
that.
concert.
Indeed, yeah. And so, I never bothered to ask this question before, but does the Lions Club do cleanup in the covered area after everybody's done? Or does anybody take
The-
responsibility for that? Or
The Lions Club pretty well does take,
that's what I was thinking.
there, because there's a receptacle there for
Yes,
trash
right.
and recycle,
Yes,
and
Okay.
most generally I don't know what's the matter with people, their signs are right there, but they still throw the trash in the recycle.
we'll do that.
That's just something you gotta live with.
So basically, yeah, we don't have to do anything with the band or
Okay,
anything else really. We're just there to support and because it's our park.
Well, and we
So-
should do that,
Mhm.
if you're gonna be on the parkway, you should support it, it's.
so do you want us to sign up for introducing bands?
No, just to
I
make
mean,
it good,
'cause I-
just say, I'll do it this time, I mean, just
Okay.
keep
'Cause
track
I'm
of
not gonna
our
be
own.
there
it says
all
that.
of the times.
Right.
Right.
Just
But
when
I'm
you're there,
willing to
you'll.
do it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'll
So
do it
maybe
too at
if
some
you're
point.
there next time, if you make the next meeting,
Mhm.
we'll put you up there. And
That's
I'll write down a little cheat sheet with the band name
Yeah, that's
and
great.
then.
But
the
also,
sponsors.
any of the board members that are there, you're up front
Okay,
with me.
With
I
our
need
shirts
all
on.
the support. I can
Okay,
get.
yeah,
All
I
right.
can do
Yeah,
that.
I think
I'll
that's a
have to
good
talk.
idea.
We'll be standing there with you, so if we fall over, we'll pick you up.
okay, sure.
Yeah, I think it's good that, the park board members are there, and.
Yeah.
And like you say, some way showing that you are part of the board, for
Yeah.
if they got any questions.
And my experience has been that most folks, they ask, what's the Parks Board?
Mm.
They don't even know about it,
Yeah,
Mhm.
So it's a good opportunity to get the word out on that.
Anything else on music in the park update?
I guess not.
If not, we'll move on to the memorial sculpture
Mhm.
For the Veterans Memorial Park. I'd also like to take a second too and thank Rose for a fine job doing the minutes.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's been doing a good job. Okay, I'm gonna put the agenda up here. I'm going to attempt to do this. Doesn't like it on my small screen. A little bit bigger. Okay, I'm just gonna see if I can get you all have a copy, but just if anyone's watching,
Oh, mhm.
so that they can see kind of the sculpture. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit on my little laptop. Great. Try our best here. Okay. So I sent you a little bit of information about the memorial, and basically we have the two different styles that we've looked at before, which were I gave you kind of a printout of the granite memorial that I just gave you.
Yeah.
And then the spire with an eagle and a nest on top of it. So two different options there.
So there is a spire.
Well, there was with the eagle, it's a eagle sitting on top of a spire, which is
Okay.
probably made out of metal, I'm assuming.
And
So,
there's, okay.
yeah, so
And would there be the emblems embedded in that?
the emblems get installed like on it,
Hmm.
essentially is my understanding. They're a little
Like wheels?
raised. They're kind of raised is
Oh.
my understanding of it. And so yes, those would have been put on that somehow, but they probably wouldn't have all shown from the front because it doesn't
Not
have
enough
enough
room.
surface area on each side. You'd have to kind of wrap them around.
That's okay
And
too.
so
What are you talking about now?
the original eagle, it had
Oh.
just one spire that held up the eagle.
Oh,
So the way we got here is that in talking to the family, there were some family members that liked the idea of some kind of a granite structure.
Okay.
And there were some family members that liked the eagle with the nest. And so our thought was, and also talking with Eric Neiman, who's been working on the project, is how could we combine two of those things and make it affordable so that we could afford to do it. And so we came up with something that's a combination of the two, which is 3 granite, I don't know what you want to call them, columns maybe. And then they would have, they can have, they don't have to for sure, but they could have the seals on them. So between them, they'd be distributed with the seals, and there could be a plaque on the center one as well that has the information about, on the handout I gave you, there's a plaque that's got some language on it, a couple of them.
So is
So-
this what you're talking about now then?
So the plaque could be put on that structure there. And then and it would be, the center one would be at least 6 feet tall or so. And then the eagle and the nest could sit on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
What is that, a 3x6 then?
Which one? Yeah, it's very approximate. We would have to work with 2 different artists.
Would the 2 smaller ones be included?
Yeah, so the idea is that the look would be this with the
Right.
3,
So those would be about 3 feet
Those
tall,
guys would be
About
3 feet.
enough to climb on?
3, 4. We hope to angle them to where
Oh,
they'll
interesting.
I mean, someone could, but to where it's difficult for most
Yeah.
people, unless they're really trying to be climbing on it. And so that is one of the considerations when we talked to the eagle artist, is putting that spire was to keep it up higher and
Mm.
hopefully keep
Oh,
people
yeah.
away from it. If people are really determined to get to something,
They will do that.
they will. Part of what's nice about this is that it is granite on the bottom, so it's if it does get graffiti happening to it, it is a lot easier to clean. The memorial where I worked before was granite, and it did get tagged a few times, and we were able to clean it fairly easily. So that's a good thing about having the granite versus maybe even a more rustic metal spire might be a little more difficult
Oh, okay.
to do that with. And
So
so,
the metal's hard to clean the graffiti off then?
well, if it's if it's really smooth metal, maybe it's easier, but
Yeah.
something that's a little more rustic.
Mm.
This
might
is more
be
porous,
difficult.
and
Okay.
this is just
Well, that makes sense.
This is
to me.
just steel.
Like it's like steel with
So it's
exposed and
gonna immediately
oxidized.
rust and start deterioration.
Sure.
Right.
And you know, the nice thing about this is that you have a base that's very solid and is there and would hold most of the memorial information or the, you know,
Mhm.
it would hold most of that. So the way we got here is just trying to combine mostly what people who have worked on the project and have had ideas and the family members and just the feedback that we've gotten from those groups as to what they would like. And it seemed that coming together with a merged design might be the way to go.
Mm. So the family members were adamant about having the nest as well as the eagle, is that right?
I don't know that they necessarily had to have the nest. I think they like the idea of the eagle, and there still is opportunity. You know, this recommendation decision is not, we want exactly this. It's,
Mhm.
we
Okay.
like this concept.
It's an
And
advisory.
right, so
Okay.
this is actually on the agenda for the city council meeting
Okay.
on Monday. I did not say that you said you wanted this. I said they're considering this at this
Okay.
meeting and I'll
Sure.
update you. But it's really more, do you like this concept for us to move forward with? So once they would, if you agree and you like this and we pass it to them and they say, yes, we like that, then we'll look in the details of
Okay.
what do we really want with the eagle? What color of granite do we want? Do we want the seals on there? It's really just the concept of going with this design. And the reason we're doing that is because we do have to get things started,
Yes.
particularly with the eagle on top. That artist, if we can go with him directly, which I'm hoping that we can, because he has donated some time and materials to the project. He needs pretty substantial amount of time to get that part done. So.
Well,
So-
and actually the nest could be a deterrent of getting to the eagle too.
It might be,
That's
yeah.
true.
I
Mhm.
mean, it could, or it could also,
Be a handle.
you know,
I don't know how that it would feel good. It
we
almost
could,
looks like large
you know,
barbed wire.
sharpen them.
Right?
And make it.
I'll put my
lightning.
risk manager hat on now.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but yeah. So,
I like that setup with the big granite and then the two small ones. I
I do
think that'll
too.
work
Mhm.
with the eagle on top. So the grant that we got, that Eric got, is for this memorial. It's
yeah, the
not for
city
rest-
actually,
not
so the
the
city
surrounding-
actually got
It's
this
not for the
grant,
rest of the
right?
park.
Right,
Okay.
it is a
Right.
city grant, yeah.
So the, on this particular one, it shows 3 flags.
Can I pause you 1 second? I just
Sure.
want the record to show that Carol Leach has just joined us
Oh.
at 5:31.
Okay. Hello, Carol.
She's not quite connected. She may not hear us. Okay, so what was your question?
This particular one shows 3 flags.
The flags will still be there, so that's
Okay.
just a separate.
They'll
I
be
mean,
on the smaller,
the flags will be behind this structure, so
What's that one say?
POW.
Oh, POW.
Mhm,
So
yeah.
those will be up all the time.
Oh,
I think that we've gotten some feedback from the neighbors that they maybe don't want them up all the time, so I think that we had
Well, I think
talked
they have to
about.
be lighted at least.
They will be,
Okay.
they will
Flag
be.
at night.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we'll have power there and everything, but I think the talk was to maybe put them up just for like days of remembrance
Oh.
and things like
Oh,
that,
okay.
so that they're not flapping all
Right.
of the time because it is so close to property owners. So I think that was feedback that was gathered on the survey before I was here.
yeah, okay.
And so, yes, so the flagpoles will still be there. That's part of the project. And that is part of what our grant funding can go toward.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think we included the flagpole structure and the poles and then this and just like the excavation work and concrete work to get those in.
and both pieces of this are covered in that grant?
Yes, so we're
Or
able to.
donations?
Yeah, we're able to spend, the grant was 50,500 and then we have a 40% match, which is like, math, 20, yeah, a little over 20,000.
Mhm.
So that's how much we have to spend on that portion of it.
Okay.
And so,
70,000 altogether,
yeah, and so
just for this?
no, well, with the flagpoles and the,
Mhm.
but the granite, I was quoted for a granite structure similar to this one, and it was 15 to 20,000 without the seals, but just kind of as you're seeing it in the picture. And then the large eagle with the spire was quoted at about $35,000. So I think without the spire, and if it's scaled down, I think the size of it at that time was very large and probably too large for the
Probably
park.
too large. for
Mm.
the park.
So I think with it scaling down, that we're gonna be about within the same range as we thought we would initially. The very initial idea was quite a bit higher, it's getting like a bronze.
Mm.
I would hope
Statue.
that spending this 50,000 on this, that it should be much easier for us to get money to complete the park. Because we've already, I think some of them.
We
that's all
budgeted
soft
for the
money or
park.
whatever, that-
Yeah, the park has
Mhm.
funding. It's budgeted
Yeah.
for already. So the whole park is budgeted. We do have an additional grant that we're gonna try to secure for other aspects of the park from the Ford Foundation.
Mhm.
So they won't, it's kind of the grant we have now will only touch the memorial.
Right.
The Ford Foundation will not touch the memorial, will only
That's
touch the
fine.
rest of the
Yeah,
park. So we're
sure.
hoping to get that. Plus we
Mhm.
have the, Timber Framers Guild
Oh,
that's
okay.
gonna step in with some help for the pavilion. And we have, Eric has secured a lot of donations.
That's great.
So we're in good shape and it's budgeted. We already have this park in phases going out in our budget for a capital improvement plan.
The Ford Foundation has been good to Philomath.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah,
in
so
a
they
lot of
just,
ways.
they want to see our plan and then they
Mhm.
said, once we get
Sure.
our visual plan, then to apply for that grant. So I'll do that once we get our plan set in place.
And you
So-
said the eagle with a fire or a spire?
Spire.
Spire.
So the
Okay,
original
sorry,
was,
Mike.
was kind of just like a four-sided spire that points up with the eagle on top of it.
Okay,
Yeah, that was like that original design.
Design wise, I like this concept with the eagle on top without the nest.
Okay,
Just design wise.
okay.
And this is going to be 6 foot high? Is that right?
Yeah, or it may be even a little taller. It's
Mhm,
not set.
okay.
That was just kind of an approximate.
well, and
Yeah.
if you didn't do the nest, I would say that let's put it up 8 feet.
Mhm.
Perhaps to stop people climbing up
Right,
the-
right.
or whatever. Mhm.
And we do want to look at that,
Mhm,
making it
sure.
tall enough to deter. And if the sides were a little bit taller, it would
Mhm.
deter it even further. So,
And I think that these plaques that we need to put on there, I think there'll be plenty of room on here.
yes, yeah,
And it'll look really nice.
I
Yeah.
think it will. look
Have
nice.
we procured the granite from our local granite guy?
We have not yet. So
Probably
that
can.
because, well, we
I
can
think-
track, we have to see what the costs
I
are.
mean, have you guys
because-
talked to him at all?
Oh, yeah, so Eric has talked to him. Yeah, and he was getting a price. I didn't hear back today with it. But that was for a much more substantial structure. And since that, Eric
Oh,
and I had talked about scaling it down to kind of include all the aspects. And so that's our hope, but we cannot just direct award. It is a grant funded project through the state. And we are also always have procurement rules that we have to follow anyway. So a lot of times it comes out where it's the local people because you go out, say for 3 bids and the local people are giving you a $10,000 donation on something. The other 2 people are not. So
Sure.
but you have to follow through those processes. We can't just direct award most of the time. So we'll have to work through our procurement process on
Because
that
it's a
one.
grant. Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
That makes sense.
they require that. If they're going to pay us any money back, we have
Mhm.
to have all that documentation for them.
Okay. And these symbols here that are going to go on there, they're different members of the armed forces. Is that what I understood?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got your Air Force Reserve.
You know,
Yeah.
the space, what's the name of that one
The
that just got added?
Navy
It's a
and
new one.
Department of Defense, Marine Corps, and.
Is it Space Force? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
Oh, there
Space
is
Force.
Yeah.
Force
thing.
now.
So that's the newest one. Mhm.
Okay. Hmm.
Well, I feel like the granite would be a permanent monument,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
It's not gonna go anywhere unless, somebody hauled it away or
Mhm.
whatever, but, it's not gonna rust away.
Mhm.
There still might be some little bit of maintenance that has to be done to it, but overall, I think that it shows honoring these people, it's a symbol of status and strength and durability and grounding and all those things. So I do like the granite. I kind of agree about, I like, the eagle is okay. Without the nest, I would prefer. And knowing that the eagle is won't be there forever. It will rust away.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, if you powder coat them, they'll stay pretty good for quite a while.
I don't think it'll rust away before we will.
Before we will.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's not long.
Well put, Mary.
I think the symbol of the eagle, because it's got to be a symbol. I mean, that's what it is strength and for the country and the forces and all this kind of thing. And so I think that showing it just by itself, I understand like an eagle with a nest, it's like coming home
to the
kind of
nest,
thing.
right?
But I think, to my mind anyway, it's more, the bird itself is more of a symbol of
More military.
strength and, I don't know, all the good things. It doesn't need to be shown that it's coming home. The memorial is shown that it's at home.
Mhm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It does make sense.
It does.
Is this one that he has done already?
He's done
Yes.
this one. This is
It's
just
in
an
his parking
example.
lot. You can
Is
see
it?
it when you
Okay.
go by.
All right, so I wonder, it would be interesting to talk with him too about what other options he's thought about.
And we would do that. So if we move forward with this recommendation, that will be the next steps, is having
Because
those
I can live,
discussions.
I definitely, I like the eagle. I don't really care if there's a nest there or not.
Yeah, it's really, I think that this part of the conversation is really more, do you like the idea of the granite
Yep.
with
The
the
eagle on top.
seals and the something,
Mhm.
another sculpture of some sort to add interest on top, whether it's the eagle in the nest. I think we like the idea of the eagle, obviously, because it, is symbolic. But the nest portion of it, that part can come up later. It, just because you agree with this is a general concept. It is not an infirm design. So that recommendation is not that you firmly go with this with the eagle and the nest. It can be modified later.
Well, the eagle is part of, is it the division that he was in?
Yeah, it's Screaming Eagles. I think.
That's right,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Mhm.
Oh, that's true, but it's also the American symbol.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Well, but if you were
United
Benjamin
States.
Franklin, he wanted the turkey to.
I do.
I have a lot of
We got
those
enough
That would
around
be
here.
appropriate for
The
Harvard.
screaming turkey.
Screaming
That'd be
turkey.
appropriate for around here.
Yes.
Yep, so.
So do we need to make a motion?
Yeah, so what would be good if you want to, I would just start with a motion to approve the general concept design so that you don't feel like you're firmly in place with this, to recommend that to the city council for approval to move ahead with.
So will they go through this process as well and look and what their
Yes,
favorite is?
they'll discuss this.
And that's
as well.
Monday evening.
And they
And-
still put a lot of stock in home.
And what other, do they have other choices besides this?
They'll be presented with this choice, not the other
Oh.
choices. That's the point of having the park board, is to work through some of the other
So
choices.
will you be presenting that? Will
I will.
Eric? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Eric can certainly come too, but he's, I just had a phone conversation with him, and he really thinks this is a great idea. This was definitely not just staff. It was,
Right.
we had a collaboration. Eric hit about the same point that we did as staff, going, something, we need to find some way to come to the middle and honor what the family wants and what the people who've been working on the project want. And so this seemed like the way to do that, to go with this kind of general concept design and then hone in on it.
Well, I make a motion to, that we accept the concept of the granite pieces with the eagle on top to present to the city council on Monday evening.
Is that clear enough for you?
That's
Yeah,
fine
is that
for
clear?
me. Okay.
Do we have a second?
Sandy.
Okay, we have a second.
You want to do a vote?
Yes, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Are you going to vote, Dale?
Yes,
What do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay.
I don't get.
And what
thrown
about
out
Carol?
every year.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Carol,
Carol,
still here?
can you speak. If you can't, it's okay. I just want to give you an opportunity to, if you have anything to say about it. I believe she said something
Can you
about
send
this
us-
design.
Can you send us a sign?
Sign. Let me see if I can see really quick
Thumbs
before
up.
we. um,
Or down.
She had said something about the design.
I don't think we've replaced Lindy on the park board. have we?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, speak
Can you hear me
louder.
now?
I found a button that says I can talk.
Nice.
Oh, great. Talk away.
So yes, I even though I haven't seen it, it sounds really good.
Did you not send it to her?
Yeah, I sent it to everyone. Are you not getting the email?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been really busy and I
Okay.
have not been able to keep up with email, but what I've just been sitting here listening to you talk about it and it sounds good to me.
Okay, great.
Good, Carol.
All right. Thank you.
So just real quick, guys, we're done, looks like we're done with our agenda, but I wonder if we have replaced Lindy yet?
With Lindy again. She came back.
You replaced me with me. You asked me to
Yvonne.
come back.
I mean,
Yvonne.
oh, Yvonne.
Oh,
Yvonne was the replacement.
But,
And Larry.
Mhm.
And in December, we have myself.
Then I have to leave.
Well, Izzy left.
Yes.
Izzy, yeah.
Yeah. And so we have Larry and Yvonne are replacements. And then Lindy,
Did Caleb leave also?
Caleb left.
Mhm.
Yes, he-
Okay.
I think he moved.
He moved. And
Oh,
when I
he
first
moved.
got here, that happened. They said, who's this
Oh.
Caleb person? And
Oh.
I reached out and
Yeah.
he said he'd moved. So,
Well, Chris asked me to come back again. This
yes,
is only my 10th year.
I know. Well, we're
I was
happy to
just
have you
thinking
back.
about that this
Is
morning.
So is there a
Has
spot
it
open
been in
right now?
existence
Yeah.
For 10 years?
Yeah.
We were supposed to turn out already,
Is
Yeah.
there? that's
but
what
they
I'm
asked us
Three.
to,
Is
they
it-
asked us to do one more to help finish the
Right.
update.
You're on your third, right? Is it?
Fourth.
Okay, you're fourth. I think it's three. It's 3 terms.
Yeah,
Three
Three by
terms.
three terms.
So
Three
max.
terms of 3 years?
Yes.
And I've done my 3 terms of 3 years.
Yes, and now you're on your fourth.
And I was assuming I would come back for 1 year.
Is that your son? If that's what you want, then. you
Well,
would-
I wasn't asked about it. I was
You
talked
are
to about
here
it.
for 3 years, I
They just
think.
said
I'm
come
not
back.
sure what we can look at the terms. They're all on the website.
Oh,
everyone's
okay. I
terms.
didn't bother to check.
Well, because the way I understood Chris, he said that, because I told him, I said, I think I've turned out. He says, well, you have, but the mayor and I discussed it
And
and
you were
Oh.
going to-
asked you to do another term. So,
Oh, okay. So you're back again for another term too.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got terms expiring. Well, Carol was just reappointed. This list is outdated. It's not helpful at all.
Were you just up for a year then, or?
No, I did 3 years.
Did you?
I
On the
believe
board?
so. 2 or
Time
3.
So we have
Because the council
Dale,
has to reappoint you.
Dale expiring at the end of this year.
Okay.
Larry's expiring at the end of 2024.
That
Okay,
doesn't
that
mean we're
makes sense.
dying. That means we're going.
Well, we are
Your
expiring
term-
today in time.
Your park advisory board term is expiring.
Yeah.
Sandy's at the end of this year, Rose is at the end of 2023, Carol's at the
Okay.
end of this year, Yvonne is 2024, and Lindy, you're 2024.
Oh, I see. Just 3
So
years. Okay.
it's based off of, so if someone left and
Hmm.
you're finishing out their term, you finish out that term.
Oh, I see.
Then,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's not a full term. So as far as it goes with the three-year terms, we would have to look at that down the road. That's a lot of years.
See, you're getting close to get on the board.
See? There are some.
Yeah, I don't plan on coming back, so,
You're not
so that
after
will,
this.
yeah.
Okay.
As
Okay.
soon as one of us
we need some young
expires.
folks on this board.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other news? I don't have any other stuff updates unless anybody thinks that
The
they
only,
need one.
two things. One is that there were some of us that did the Ivy poll on
Oh, yeah.
the 21st.
Right.
3 of us, was there anybody
I think,
else from our
um,
committee?
Was Carol there?
No, I don't
No,
think
she
so.
wasn't.
Yeah, it was 3 at this,
Yvonne?
us 3 at
And
this.
there was-
Yvonne
Probably
there? No.
12 to 15 altogether.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Um,
About
Did
And,
you get a lot of it pulled or
What's that?
you get a lot, because it was only a 2 hours deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only
Yes.
2 hours and it was,
we just kind of tried to focus on
Mhm.
areas that
Mhm.
you know, where people walk and all that.
Right.
That's
When you
what we
get
did.
started, there's so much to take off.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
I worked on an area and cleaned the stuff out so that the natural, I can't remember what it was now, could grow.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But, you know, I worked for 2 hours and I'm
Mhm.
not
Right.
sure that I could say, geez, look at this.
Yeah, we worked in
Dale
one
would come
spot.
by and say, that took you 2 hours?
Yeah, we just worked around the bridge,
Yeah.
pulling ivy.
Mhm.
That's as far as we got.
And
Yeah.
also another plant, which I can't remember now.
Like
the
a blackberry. I can tell you
Blackberry, must have been. Oh, and also
Poison
the
oak.
hawthorn.
Oh, hawthorn,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I was-
Hawthorne is-
That wouldn't have been a good thing
Bad
at that
this year.
point.
that. Actually, it was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was. It
turned
was
out.
fine.
So the other question I have is that the rest of the park,
Mhm.
then, are we proceeding on that? Or are we just waiting to get this sorted out and then go on with it?
So there, I have an engineering firm that does park design is working on that design right now.
Okay,
So that concept should be done, I think, by the end of this month, actually. So that will come back to you, I believe, so that you can see that, and it'll go to the council so they can see it. But it will kind of reflect all of the information that we've gathered. It's not that design exactly.
You're talking about
Okay.
for Mary?
well,
No, for the
Oh,
Cochran
oh,
part.
this- Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
So the actual placement
Yeah, I'm
of
sorry,
this
I'm jumping
memorial
back-
will be
jumping
on
back
that.
and
new
forth.
design.
yes, so it will be on, so the memorial placement would be on that design and
Mhm.
the pavilion placement.
Okay,
and-
yeah.
and that existing tree,
Mhm.
did you get any feedback from?
The feedback really is, at this point, is to leave it.
Mhm.
Well, I understand that
Yeah.
the arborist said it's got at least probably 10 years to life.
Oh, good. Okay.
But,
And that's a city arborist, which is large.
yeah,
It was like 20 years perhaps.
I mean, here's my point on this one, is that it's a memorial park. This tree has got a limited lifespan. Why don't we put a good heritage tree that's gonna be there in 100 years?
Well, if that tree
Well, we
dies,
have the
I think
Kind
that
of
we would
against
continue
what
with
the
it.
family wished,
What's that?
Yeah.
the family that
They-
donated
They
probably
wanted the tree
wished-
to remain there.
wished the tree. to
Yeah,
be
so
there.
part of this is we're honoring the family who's given
Yes.
us the property and
Yeah.
asked us to put the
Okay.
park here.
I
And so there's
didn't,
some of that involved, yeah.
I didn't know that they were attached. to
And
that tree.
a lot, all the other trees pretty much are substantial, they're coming out. So
Fruit
it
trees.
it would,
Rotten fruit.
right,
Okay.
so to remove every tree from the park as well would be a little bit of a shock, I think,
Mhm.
to everyone. So, yeah, and the
Yeah,
thought is
you-
that if the tree does expire or needs to be removed, that we
I
would
like that
plant
word.
a heritage tree there to replace it, like in memory of the tree
Mhm.
that is currently
Yeah.
there.
Then we'll go with your recommendation.
I'm assuming that I mean, part of it's dead now, and so I'm assuming
is it?
they'll trim it up and.
Yeah, they'll
Get
have to
into-
do that before they construct the park, because I'm sure the contractors will not want to be working around that anyway.
Seems to me like somewhere in the family heritage or tree, whatever, they showed that tree as part of the family.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, there was-
pictures of.
that's
Well, there's
Family
pictures of
really
Paul
that
Cochran
small.
with the
Yeah.
tree.
But
Yeah.
Small and him climbing it and such as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah, I remember Eric showed us a picture
Oh,
Mm.
sure.
of Paul with that.
With the tree,
with the
yeah,
tree.
yeah. So the thought is that if the tree comes, it cannot be there any longer, that we'll replace it in the same location. Yeah.
Okay,
Anything else?
I
If
don't
not,
think so.
meeting stands adjourned, and
Oh.
thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just had a question for Chelsea.
Yes.
So we had the whole discussion thing that went on about adding to the name of Mary's River Park.
Mhm.
And the board approved, or the council approved it.
Mhm.
So where are we now? What do we do now?
That's a good question. I will look into that for you and get back to you.
Okay,
Because I don't know where that ended up. You're thinking like potential signage or putting it on the
well,
website. things like
yeah,
that.
yeah, something to
Okay.
put it out there officially.
Mhm. Yes, that's a good question.
What, it was very good
There's
park.
park and natural.
And
area.
natural area.
Natural area, yeah.
Mhm.
And then that will help us procure Maybe some grants,
Yeah. that's true
maybe
too.
get on a list of natural areas, official things like that.
Okay.
And I don't get down to that park very often, but I was impressed by how many people were using that park that day.
Oh, yeah, it's a
Yes.
busy place.
There's people walk their
There's
dog over.
Dogs and, kids and
Yeah.
it's great.
It's getting busier all the time.
I'm glad to see the city cut the grass.
Oh, yeah, finally
It's
it
already
dried out enough.
starting.
Oh, out here,
Out at Mary's River
like,
Park,
like behind here.
like behind the community garden too.
Oh, at the
yeah.
park, you're talking about the
Yeah,
other.
I think it
field.
had been so wet that.
Oh, I know.
There's been
It's same with my own lawn.
so
Yeah.
delayed this year.
Yes.
Yeah,